This tutorial looks at what are called precipitates, specifically those which are made when solutions of certain transition elements, that mysterious group in the middle of the periodic table, when solutions of these metals react with sodium hydroxide solution. Now there's quite a few facts that you need to remember in this topic. You need to be able to define what a precipitation reaction is, and you also need to know the colours of precipitates which are given when copper 2, iron 2 and iron 3 solutions react with sodium hydroxide. So the experiment that you may have done at school involves adding dilute sodium hydroxide solution, drop by drop, to a solution of, for example, a transition metal sulfate or transition metal nitrate, or some other solution that contains the dissolved transition metal. If, for example, you were to use copper sulfate solution and add to it sodium hydroxide solution, you would see a blue precipitate of solid copper hydroxide, and there would be a remaining solution of sodium sulfate. So a precipitation reaction involves the making of a solid which is insoluble when two solutions are added together. So when soluble hydroxide ions, usually provided by something like sodium hydroxide solution or potassium hydroxide solution, meet with certain metal ions, they form insoluble precipitates, which are distinctively coloured. Copper 2 plus ions or copper 2 ions react with hydroxide ions to make insoluble copper 2 hydroxide, which is a blue precipitate. Iron 2 ions or Fe2 plus ions react with soluble hydroxide ions to make an insoluble precipitate of iron 2 hydroxide, which is a green solid. And iron 3 ions or Fe3 plus ions react with sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide to make an insoluble precipitate of iron 3 hydroxide, which is an orange-brown solid. Here's a past paper question on this subject. Brahim adds a small volume of sodium hydroxide solution to 5 different solutions. An insoluble solid called a precipitate is made each time. Look at the results table, it's not finished. First thing we need to do is to finish the table. Well, we see that copper chloride solution has made a precipitate which is blue. Copper nitrate solution would be expected to make that same blue precipitate of copper 2 hydroxide. Iron 2 chloride has given a green precipitate of iron 2 hydroxide, as has iron 2 sulfate, because they contain the same Fe2 plus ion. But the Fe3 plus ion, which is found in iron 3 nitrate, would give a different coloured precipitate. This would give an orange-brown precipitate. Now look at the formulas in the table. Which formula contains 6 oxygen atoms? Okay, let's have a look. This one here seems the most likely because it's got 3 oxygens in the nitrate, and that's doubled to make 6. The only other one with oxygens has got 3 in the nitrate, tripled would make 9. So the answer here would be Cu brackets NO3 brackets twice.